Hello, everything is fine. I am MASAFE. It's a pleasure to be able to share knowledge with you. The MASAFE ELETRÓNICA channel needs your help. Can you like and share this video lesson? Oh, and if you are not registered, please register, okay? Thank you very much for being here. I hope I can meet your expectations. So let's go to class.
What does bias mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, bias refers to the adjustment or control of the bias current that is applied to certain parts of the amplifier circuit, such as transistors or valves. Bias current is a direct current that flows through these devices even when there is no audio signal present. This adjustment is critical to ensure that the amplification device operates within its ideal operating limits and to minimize distortion of the audio signal. Bias tuning is performed to ensure that the amplifier's active devices are operating in the linear region of its characteristic curve, where audio signal amplification is most accurate and distortions are minimized. A proper bias can also help extend the life of amplifier components. In summary, the bias in audio amplifiers is a critical adjustment that controls bias current to ensure optimal amplifier performance and reproduced sound quality. What does Bootstrap mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, the term Bootstrap refers to a technique used to improve the performance of single-stage amplifiers, such as Class A or Class AB amplifiers. The basic concept behind bootstrapping is to use a capacitor to inject a portion of the output signal back into the amplifier input stage. This feedback of the output signal to the input stage has several beneficial effects. 1. Increasing input impedance. The output feedback signal increases the effective input impedance of the amplifier input stage. This helps improve the linearity and stability of the amplifier. 2. Reduction of the Miller effect. The Miller effect is a phenomenon in which the input capacitance of an amplification stage is amplified due to the voltage gain of the stage. This can cause stability and distortion issues. The bootstrap technique can significantly reduce this effect, thus improving the bandwidth and frequency response of the amplifier. 3. Improved effective voltage gain. Returning the output signal to the input stage can increase the effective voltage gain of the amplifier. Essentially, bootstrapping is a feedback technique that helps improve the performance of audio amplifiers, making them more linear, stable, and with a better frequency response. What does DCO mean in audio amplifiers? DCO is the abbreviation for direct coupled output, which in Portuguese means direct coupled output in audio amplifiers. DCO refers to a design technique in which there is no coupling capacitor at the output of the amplification stage. When an amplifier is DCO, it means that the output of the amplification stage is directly connected to the load, usually a speaker or other output device, without any intermediate components, such as a capacitor. This can have advantages in terms of audio quality, as there are no passive components in the audio signal path that could distort or attenuate it. However, DCO amplifiers also have some important considerations, such as the need to ensure that there is no direct current DC imbalance in the output, which could damage the load or introduce distortion into the signal. Therefore, designing and implementing a DCO amplifier requires additional care to ensure optimal performance. What is the meaning of drivers in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, the term drivers refers to the components responsible for receiving the audio input signal and amplifying it to power the speakers. Drivers are an essential part of the amplification circuit and play a crucial role in the quality of the sound reproduced. They receive the low power signal and amplify it to a level suitable for driving speakers, which in turn convert the amplified electrical signal back into audible sound. Audio amplifiers often have different amplification stages, and each stage may have its own dedicated driver. For example, in a typical amplifier, there may be a preamplification driver, a power amplification driver, and so on, depending on the complexity of the design. It is important to choose high-quality drivers to ensure faithful audio reproduction without unwanted distortions. The design of the drivers can also vary depending on the specific amplifier application and the desired characteristics of the final sound. What does feedback mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, Feedback refers to a technique used to control or modulate the amplifier's output. Feedback is generally used to improve characteristics such as stability, gain, bandwidth, distortion, input or output impedance, among other parameters. There are two main types of feedback in audio amplifiers. 1. Positive feedback, also known as positive feedback. This type of feedback occurs when part of the output signal is reintroduced into the amplifier, input with the same polarity. This often results in instability, distortion, and in some cases can lead to unwanted oscillations. Positive feedback is generally avoided in audio amplifier designs. 2. Negative feedback, also known as negative feedback. This is the most common type of feedback in audio amplifiers. In it, part of the output signal is sampled and reintroduced into the amplifier input with inverted polarity. This tends to reduce distortions, improve the linearity and stability of the amplifier, as well as control other performance parameters. Negative feedback is widely used in high-end audio amplifiers to improve their accuracy and performance, especially in terms of frequency response and harmonic distortion. However, its implementation requires care to avoid stability issues and other design issues. What does RF filter mean in audio amplifiers? The term RF filter in audio amplifiers refers to a radio frequency filter. An RF filter is a component designed to attenuate or eliminate unwanted radio frequency signals that may interfere with the performance of the audio amplifier. Such interference may be caused by radio emissions, nearby electronic devices, or other RF sources. RF filters are important in audio amplifiers because RF interference can introduce unwanted noise or distortion into the audio signal, degrading the quality of the reproduced sound. Therefore, by using an RF filter, these interferences are minimized, allowing the audio amplifier to provide cleaner, noise-free performance. What does GND mean in audio amplifiers? GND is an abbreviation for ground, which in Portuguese means earth or grounding. In audio amplifiers, GND refers to the electrical reference point in a circuit. This is where all voltages are measured, relative to zero. In audio systems, GND is essential to ensure that audio signals are referenced correctly and to avoid unwanted noise. GND is usually connected to the amplifier chassis and is used to protect electronic components and users from electrical shock, as well as helping to reduce electromagnetic interference. What does differential pair mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, a differential pair is a circuit configuration with two transistors that are paired in a complementary fashion. This arrangement is commonly used in input stages of high-quality audio amplifiers due to its ability to provide gain and noise rejection in differential signals. Differential pair operation is based on the voltage difference between the bases of the transistors. When an input signal is applied to one of the bases, current flows through the transistors in proportion to the voltage difference between the bases. This results in an amplification of the input signal. The advantage of the differential pair in audio amplifiers is its ability to reject common noise, because the input signal is applied differentially, i.e., relative to a common reference point. Any noise that is common to both inputs is cancelled during amplification. This is especially important in audio applications, where sound quality is crucial and unwanted noise can degrade signal fidelity. In summary, differential pair in audio amplifiers is a design technique that provides amplification of input signals while minimizing amplification of common noise, contributing to high-quality audio performance. What does gain resistor mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, a gain resistor is an electrical component that is used to adjust or set the gain of the amplifier. Gain is the measure of how much an input signal is amplified to produce an output signal. The gain resistor is usually part of a feedback circuit that controls signal amplification. By changing the value of the gain resistor, it is possible to adjust the amount of amplification that occurs in the amplifier. This is useful for adjusting the sensitivity of the amplifier or ensuring that it operates within a specific desired operating range. In summary, the gain resistor in an audio amplifier is a key component for controlling the amplification of the input signal to produce a desired output signal. What does VAS mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, VAS stands for voltage amplification stage. which translated into Portuguese would be voltage amplification stage. The VAS is a crucial part of many audio amplifiers, especially in high-end power amplifiers. Its function is to amplify the voltage of the input signal to a level that is suitable for the final power stage of the amplifier, which then amplifies the current to drive the speakers. The VAS stage is responsible for providing accurate and linear voltage amplification, ensuring that the audio signal is amplified with fidelity and without significant distortion. It is generally comprised of bipolar transistors or MOSFETs, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors that are configured to provide the desired amplification. In summary, the VAS stage plays a key role in the quality of the sound produced by the audio amplifier, ensuring that the input signal is amplified effectively and accurately. What does VBE mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, VBE refers to the base to emitter voltage. This is the voltage between the base and emitter of a bipolar transistor inside the amplifier. In an audio amplifier, transistors are often used to amplify the audio signal. When an audio signal is applied to the amplifier input stage, the voltage at the base of the transistor varies depending on the signal. This variation in base emitter voltage controls the current through the transistor, which in turn amplifies the audio signal. It is important to control and maintain the base emitter voltage within certain limits to ensure the correct and stable operation of the transistor and, consequently, the amplifier as a whole. Unwanted changes in base emitter voltage can result in distortion of the audio signal or even damage the transistor. Therefore, designing audio amplifiers involves carefully considering the base emitter voltage and designing appropriate bias circuits to ensure proper transistor operation. What does OV mean in audio amplifiers? In audio amplifiers, 0 volts generally refers to the electrical reference point, commonly called ground or common ground. This is the reference point in an electrical circuit where electrical potentials are measured. In many cases, 0 volts is connected to the equipment chassis or to a common reference point throughout the electrical system. In an audio amplifier, 0 volts is essential to provide a stable reference for the audio signal. This is important to ensure that the audio signal is amplified correctly and without distortion. Any significant deviation from 0 volts can cause distortion in the audio signal and affect the quality of the reproduced sound. In summary, 0 volts in audio amplifiers is the electrical reference point that is crucial to ensuring the integrity of the amplified audio signal.